the lottery mentality is this idea that maybe I'll get lucky. And in order to really understand what this is about, it's helpful to think about a couple different lottery slogans. So I just picked a couple random lotteries. One was in Australia, one was in New Jersey. The one in New Jersey said, "Give your dreams a chance." The one in Australia said, "Your ticket to dream." Now, think about that for a second and how presumptuous that is. This is a governmental institution basically telling you that you need to buy one of these tickets in order to dream. And this idea is a very, very old idea. Let me tell you how far back it goes. The Egyptians actually used lotteries to fund and finance the building of the pyramids. That's how far this idea goes back. So the idea is we the governmental organization, whatever it happens to be, is essentially doing what I call a mentality tax, which is they're charging you for having a certain mentality. And that mentality is that if I get lucky, my circumstances will change. I'll pull this ticket, I'll put the right numbers, I'll scratch off the right whatever, and something radical will change about my circumstances. And so that basic mentality that governments over time have figured out, wow, we can use that, we can tax that and generate significant revenue. I can tell you, I don't know a single wealthy person that ever plays the lottery. In fact, most wealthy people don't go to Vegas and gamble because the odds are stacked against you in Vegas, right? So now this doesn't only apply though to literal lotteries, right? It doesn't, so even if you don't play the lottery, you could still have a lottery mentality, meaning, so I've met parents who all of their hopes and dreams are riding on their, son playing basketball or baseball, or they're a singer and they're singing, they're doing covers in bars, and they're convinced that one day somebody's going to walk into this bar and they're going to get discovered, right? All of those ways of thinking that something outside of your control is going to happen and dramatically change your life, all of those are examples of the lottery mentality. The corresponding mentality is the love mentality. Here's what it looks like. And here's where it came from. So I was at an event, it was sort of a private event where a high-ranking automotive executive was talking to a group of about 20 of us. And they were talking about how they had achieved so much success with their company in such a short period of time. And he said, here's how they do it. He said, every year they have a corporate retreat where all of the high-level managers go to this retreat, and they spend, it's a 3-day retreat. They spend the first day fighting over the definition of love. So the whole point of this retreat is to debate what love means. And you can imagine how contentious that can get, right? I mean, love is a pretty powerful word, and people have very strong opinions about that. So this executive is saying that the first day, there's a lot of heated debate and people insulting each other and so on. And then the second day, they make up, and there's reconciliation, and let me give you a hug and apologize for what I said yesterday, sort of thing. I really didn't mean it, even though I kind of did a little bit. And so, they have this kind of reconciliation, and then day 3 is when they start having significant breakthroughs. And he says, here's why we end up having breakthroughs day 3. What happens is when you think about what love means in a lot of different contexts, where you end up, and then when you apply it to sort of a business commercial context, what it ends up meaning essentially is that you get this feeling that you're getting something beyond what you deserve. It's unconditional. and it gives you this overwhelming feeling of joy. So let me give you a couple of examples of what it means, and then I'll come back to kind of the business context of this, right? So imagine that you have a fig tree in your backyard and you love figs. And so you go out there and you're eating a fig one day and you just stare at this tree and you go, wow, I just love this tree. And if you stop and think about what makes you say that is that this tree is just giving you this bounty of delicious fruit. It's not really asking much of anything in return. It's kind of unconditional, and it's bringing you all this joy. It's the same reason that we smile at babies, because a baby will look up at us and have this big, beautiful smile, bringing you all this joy. And they're not really, asking you for anything. It could be going by in a stroller. They're not asking you for anything in return. They're just giving you joy unconditionally, right? Those kinds of things tend to make us say, I love that thing, whether it's a puppy, baby, tree, whatever. So what they discovered in this company was that if they could get you to say, I love my car, whatever that car is, because that car gives you, it doesn't break down, it goes for 100,000 miles without any problems, right? It gives you all this benefit that goes beyond what you expected for whatever you pay for that car. That's when people say, I love my fill in the blank car, right? So I took that to heart, and I said to myself, okay, well then essentially what this guy is saying is, the question in terms of wealth is not, how can I get more stuff from me? But the question is, how will I touch people's lives? And so I would ask you, if those of you listening to this presentation right now, ask yourself, how many lives will you touch, right? Because to me, I think of income as a thank you, wealth as a thank you. So for example, if you take a popular singer like Taylor Swift or Beyonce or someone like that, the reason that they're wealthy is because they have touched, there's so many people driving home on some long trip or something who are grateful for their music. They've touched so many lives that those lives they're touching are saying thank you, and their lifestyle, their wealth is reflective of the lives that they're touching. So if you're not bringing any joy to anyone's life, you're not improving anyone's life in any way, there aren't a lot of people who are grateful for what you do, then you have to ask yourself, am I worthy yet of being wealthy? Am I doing anything yet to warrant wealth, right? And if you think about it like that way, then all of a sudden you're not waiting around like the lottery mentality to be lucky. You are actively thinking about what you can do to bring value to the world. And that's how wealthy people think. They are trying to bring value. That's why Google is worth so much, because so many people use it to achieve and find what they're looking for, right?